Have you ever wondered why a specific person keeps showing up in your thoughts over and over again? Found yourself thinking about someone so often that it feels like they're living inside your mind? No matter what you do, work, relax, sleep, they're there. It could be someone you once loved, someone you never really got to know, or maybe someone you wish you could forget. But no matter what you do, their presence lingers in your mind. You try to distract yourself. You tell yourself it's silly, but the thoughts keep coming back. So, why does this happen? Why do our minds cling to certain people, even when we try to move on? In this video, we're going to unpack the psychology of persistent thoughts, why someone might be stuck in your head, what it actually means, and whether it's love, longing, or something deeper. Because sometimes, understanding the why is the first step to finally letting go. Or maybe holding on more consciously. One of the most powerful reasons someone stays in your thoughts is emotional attachment. Human beings are wired for connection. From the moment we're born, we seek closeness, first from caregivers, and later from friends, partners, and even strangers who spark something in us. When we bond with someone, whether through love, trust, pain, or even tension, our brain marks that connection as significant. Neuroscience shows that these emotional bonds activate the brain's reward system, particularly the dopamine pathways. In simple terms, thinking about that person literally gives your brain a hit of emotional intensity, like a mental replay button tied to pleasure, hope, or even sorrow. And the stronger the emotional charge, the harder it is to let go. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You don't even have to currently be close to someone for your brain to latch on. A childhood friend, an ex-partner, a crush you never pursued. These bonds may still be alive in your mind, even if they no longer exist in your reality. That's because the emotional memory remains, and your brain doesn't always distinguish between past and present when it comes to feelings. This is especially true when things are left unresolved. Imagine an argument that never had closure, a goodbye that never really happened, or a relationship that faded without explanation. Your brain sees this as an open loop, unfinished business. This is known as the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency to remember incomplete or interrupted experiences more than ones that are finished. So when someone is constantly on your mind, it might not just be about them, but about the emotional chapter that your mind still feels is open. Sometimes the bond is based on love, sometimes on hurt, but either way, the connection leaves a mark, and that mark can echo in your thoughts for days, months, even years. Before we continue, please take a second to like this video. It really helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. Sometimes, the reason someone is always on your mind has less to do with who they are and more to do with what they represent. They might symbolize a version of love you've always wanted, or a kind of connection you've never truly felt. In these cases, we're not just thinking about the person, we're thinking about the idea of them, the comfort, the safety, the possibility. Psychologists call this projection, when we assign our inner hopes, fears, or unmet needs onto another person. It's like building a fantasy around them. Even if you barely know them, your mind fills in the gaps with imagination. You create a version of them that fits what your heart has been missing, and that version becomes addictive. This is especially common when we feel emotionally unfulfilled. A lonely heart often finds a home in fantasy. You might think you're thinking about them, but you're really thinking about how they made you feel. Seen, wanted, alive, curious, hopeful. And here's the tricky part. Your brain doesn't always care whether those emotions were real or imagined. If someone triggered a glimpse of something beautiful, even for a moment, your mind may latch onto it like a lifeline. It's not foolish, it's human. We long for meaning. We search for connection. And sometimes, we hold on to someone simply because they awakened something we didn't know was sleeping. So if a person is stuck in your thoughts, ask yourself, is it truly about them? Or about what they gave you a glimpse of? Sometimes someone is on your mind not because you want to think about them, but because your environment keeps reminding you. This happens through what psychologists call routine triggers, the subtle, everyday things that reactivate a memory or emotional pattern. You hear a song you both used to love. You pass by the coffee shop where you first met. You check the time, and it's the hour they used to call or text. Even scrolling social media can bring up their name, their face, or a memory that feels just as fresh as the day it happened. These aren't just coincidences, they're neural associations. Your brain has paired certain experiences, sights, sounds, or places with that person. So when you encounter them again, your mind lights up with memory. It's like emotional muscle memory. Your brain says, "Ah, we've been here before," and brings them back into focus. Even time itself can be a trigger. Certain seasons, holidays, or anniversaries can bring someone flooding back into your consciousness, especially if that person was part of a meaningful moment in your past. And because many of these triggers are unconscious, you might not even realize why you're suddenly thinking about them again. But your mind remembers. It stores emotional moments like bookmarks. And every time life flips to that page, so does the memory. The more often these triggers appear in your routine, the more your thoughts reinforce the connection. It becomes a loop, habitual, automatic, and often hard to break. Another powerful reason someone might dominate your thoughts is regret. Those moments in life where you wish you had done something differently, said something you didn't, or maybe stayed when you should have walked away. Regret is a powerful emotion, one that can tie us to the past in ways that feel almost impossible to escape. When we have unresolved questions or unfinished business with someone, our mind gets stuck in a loop, endlessly replaying the situation, trying to find answers that may never come. What if I had been more honest? What if I had taken the chance? What if things hadn't ended the way they did? If you never got the apology you needed? If you never had that final conversation? Or if a relationship simply ended without any explanation? Your mind keeps circling back, trying to resolve what was left unresolved. The emotional pain tied to that uncertainty can make their memory feel like a constant companion, because your heart hasn't let go of the story yet. This isn't just about love either. Sometimes it's about loss or regret over actions that can't be undone. Words spoken in anger, trust broken, or friendships that drifted apart. No matter how much time passes, these emotional scars leave a mark, and your mind tries to heal the wound by obsessively revisiting the source of the pain. Now, we've talked about the natural reasons why someone might stay on your mind: emotional attachment, unmet needs, routine triggers, and unresolved questions. Now what? What do you do with these thoughts? First, don't fight them. Trying to suppress your thoughts often gives them more power. Instead, try this. Observe them without judgment. When they appear, ask yourself gently, what am I actually feeling right now? Is this about them or something I'm missing in myself? This creates space between you and the thought. And in that space, you regain control. Next, give those emotions somewhere to go. Journal, walk, talk to someone. Sometimes simply naming what you feel, "I miss being seen," or "I still feel unresolved," is enough to begin releasing it. Also, notice the patterns. What triggers these thoughts? What need are they trying to meet? Understanding the deeper rhythm behind them helps you respond with care instead of reacting with pain. And finally, fill your world with what nourishes you. The more you engage with people, passions, and places that bring you back to yourself, the less room those thoughts will have to take over. Healing doesn't always come from letting go. Sometimes it comes from growing past. You can carry the memory, but you don't have to carry the weight. If someone is always on your mind, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human, capable of deep emotion, reflection, and connection. These thoughts, no matter how heavy, are trying to show you something: a need, a longing, a story that wants to be understood. But here's the hope. You don't have to stay stuck in the past. You can learn to make peace with what was and create space for what's still to come. Every time you choose awareness over rumination, curiosity over judgment, healing begins, quietly but surely. The fact that you're watching this, asking questions, seeking insight, that's strength, that's growth, and with time, patience, and compassion for yourself, the thoughts that once felt overwhelming will lose their weight, and you'll come back home to yourself. Thank you for being here. If this spoke to something in you, I hope you'll subscribe and stay for more. Take care of your heart, and remember, you are never alone in what you feel. See you in the next video.